Chapter 72 Pharmacopoeia of Ceylon and How Paper Industry Killing World. By 1913, the use of cocaine and opium was gradually increasing across America. So, the American federal government introduced a new tax levy. The tax bill was introduced by Burton Harrison, a member of the federal government who represented the state of New York. Hence, it is known as Harrison's Tax Act. According to this act, the manufacturers of opium and plant products were required to register with the local taxpayers' body. At the time of registration, it was decided to levy a tax according to the nature of each industry. Only doctors were allowed to use opium and coca related products as medicine. And gradually, the entry of Indian opium into the international market decreased. But the rulers of British Empire produced opium from poppy grown in Afghanistan and hashish from hemp and presented it to international market. Realizing the dangerous aspects of cocaine use, America enacted laws to limit the use of cocaine. By 1914, 46 states of USA had banned the use of morphine and heroin in 29 states. And in August 1914, the First World War began. On December 17th of that year, Harrison's Tax Act was approved by the American federal government. It was called the Harrison's Act. The use of opium and coca leaves was allowed for medicinal purposes and recreational use was prohibited. Under these new laws, Americans' use of the opiates, morphine, heroin, and cocaine decreased. Tax policies and prohibition by some pharmaceutical companies reduced the production of drugs containing opium, morphine, heroin, cocaine. Meanwhile, Bayer Company started manufacturing aspirin as a painkiller. World War I helped the make cigarette industry, the most popular tobacco related products, more profitable. During World War I, American soldiers received free cigarettes. During this time, hemp was the main economical crop in America and Europe. The $10 bill used in America at that time depicted farmers harvesting hemp in a field. During this time, Mexicans who had immigrated to America had started trading marijuana. In the year 1914, there was a conflict between a Mexican and American in the city of El Paso, Texas, USA. At that time, it was discovered that the Mexican had smoked marijuana. To further escalate the conflict, the El Paso City Council banned the possession of marijuana in that jurisdiction. Meanwhile, a British colony compiled a book about medicine used in Sri Lanka. The book prepared by the British rulers was called Pharmacopoeia of Ceylon. That book, which was printed and published in 1914, did not mention information about hemp and hemp related drugs. The Sri Lankan doctor E.V. Ratnam, who was disappointed about this, sent a letter to the Ceylon branch of the medical association called Cannabis Indica. Try to understand this fact. In those days, Sri Lanka was not only the Sinhalese nation, but all the Sinhalese, Tamil and Muslims. We are only different from religion, but mechanism of the human being is same. All of us, every religion in Sri Lanka, fight for the Sri Lanka. But some people in Sri Lanka try to divide all these people by colors and religions. It is foolishness about that people because they don't know the reality that all of us are same. Politicization created rifts only after independence in 1948. By creating rifts between nations, they hope for unsettled issues. it is their need to stay in power based on that reason. When there are persistent problems in a country, people feel the need for a government. And instead of solving the problem, governments of the past few years have acted to increase it. Let's take the Elam War in Sri Lanka as an example. That war was carried out by a small group of Sinhalese and Tamil nations for political reasons. But it did not take much time for them to spread the problem among the common people. But with time, political leaders came to the fore and ended the war. Now, even though there is no war or any problem between the races, a small group of Tamils, Muslims, Buddhists, and Catholics are sowing hatred among the common people everywhere. I will mention to you the benefit of that few people. But because of the selfishness of those few people, the disgrace that other Sri Lankans get in front of the world is huge. The small group of Tamils mentioned earlier want to know that there is still a war in our country. The reason for that is that they get European refugee visa plus Europeans' fake sympathy. It is a matter for them to be ashamed that such programs are being carried out using Tamil youths in Canada even at this time. A very good explanation of this matter is given by Arun Siddharth, a Tamil youth who loves the Sri Lanka like E.V. Ratnam, is explained by the youth. But the Tamil, Sinhala and Muslim youths like him who loves the country are being marginalized from this society and are being slandered and crushed. It is by the few people who run after politics and gain benefits through it like refugee visa for Europe or European citizenry. And it is needed to be ashamed of those kind of people. In 1916, Jason L. Merrill and Lister H. Dewey, chief scientist of United States Department of Agriculture, got together and conducted a research to find the most suitable pulp for paper production. Hemp paste and wood paste were used for this. They pointed out that the amount of paper produced by cutting 20 hectares of trees for 20 years can be obtained by growing hemp in 1 year. 3 types of synthetic chemicals are used in the production of paper from wood pulp. They are sulfuric acid, sodium carbonate, chlorine bleach. The use of sodium carbonate and chlorine bleach can be avoided and the use of sulfuric acid can be reduced from 70% to 40% when making paper from hemp pulp. Chlorine bleach is used to remove stubborn stains from wood pulp. Dioxin is a chemical substance that is released as a waste and remains in the nature forever without being destroyed. Absorbed by the roots of plants, this chemical enters the bodies of herbivores through the food chain and spreads through the food chain to all living organisms. These chemicals deposited in the body interfere with the good management and disrupt the DNA strand and start the production of cancer cells. When making paper from hemp paste, chlorine bleach is not used and hydrogen sulfide is used instead. So dioxin is not produced. Hydrogen sulfide is an environmentally friendly chemical compound. The final conclusion of the researchers is that it is more favorable to make paper from hemp paste. Then the use of wood paste can be reduced by 70%. They pointed out that by doing so, forests and rivers can be protected and it does not threaten human existence. The results of this study are presented in USDA Bulletin for Note for Document.